Hello. Um, it's me again, Ema. Um, a couple of days ago, um, I decided to share on this platform um, something that had happened to me. Um, my behaviors in this situation, dealing with this married man over the last 8 years, off and on. And I know that when you share with the world or share with people, you take a risk of judgment and people saying all kind of different things and their opinions, and she's lying. And at this point in my life, your opinion is not my reality. Um, I have to heal. It's not just from the wound on my face. Like my head literally put a hole in this individual's wall. Um, I was pushed. I pushed back. Um, I have to heal and get some revelations about me. It's never about the other person. It's not about him. He has to deal with his own stuff. Um, he has to figure that out for himself. Um, I do know that me dealing with this individual caused me to question a lot about me, and people know me, and I'm always 94% of the time I'm upbeat. I'm outgoing. Um, but a lot of times I'm masking what the truth is. And sometimes I did that because I didn't even know what the truth was myself. I didn't. Um, it wasn't until this situation happened that I realized that there has been dysfunctional love in my life all my life. All my life. And what is not normal to healthy people is normal, or has been normal to me. It has been normal to deal with individuals that didn't reciprocate the love or respect that I was given. Don't get it wrong. I'm not no choir girl. I'm not no person that do everything by the letter. It's not that I haven't lied, don't lie. But for the most part, that's not how I live my life. I'm very, very much honest with the people that are in my life. It's some people that I told some parts about what I was going through, but it became embarrassing and shameful to tell everything about what I was going through. And I continued to go back. I had people in my life that said to me, I hope you don't deal back with that person. Only for them to come to the house and see that person. you know. And like I said previously, over the years, my self-esteem, my self-worth kept leaking out. It didn't deplete all at one time. I've never understood, I was the person that never understood how a person could be in an abusive relationship, physically though, you know. Mentally, I never really, or emotionally, I never really questioned that, right? I, you ain't gonna you ain't gonna call me on my name, and I wasn't gonna stick around for that. But we could argue all day long. But for you to put your hands on me, it was gonna be like that. And I was asked, and I sat back because I got people in my life that ask me the straightforward questions. Why did you stay? And they didn't beat me up. And I sat in that. And like I mentioned on my short, that it's this book called Dysfunctional Love. And I read that book, but the other day I actually listened to that book. I did the audio and I listened to that book, and I realized this is something I learned a long time ago. I've always, and it's not just my romantic relationships that I do this in. It's a lot of my unhealthy relationships. A lot of relationships that I just want you to reciprocate the love that I give. That don't mean you're going to give it back the same, but you'll give it. And if you don't give it, I'm going to do everything to try to get it. I'm going to jump up, I'm going to wave and say, here I am. You know, I'll do this and I'll do that. I'm talking about female relationships with so-called friends and associates, you know. I show up, I be there, and when it comes down to it, and I know that you ain't gonna always get it back how you give it. But reciprocal means that you give, I give. And I don't always get that either. Like I said, I don't know what my journey is, but what I do know is that secrets down the life exposure. I've always been concerned about, even when I was dating him and dealing with him before his separation from the wife, I never wanted his home to be disrupted. I never, and people might say, "What the hell you mean you didn't want you was dealing with him?" But I never wanted his home to be disrupted. I never asked him to leave his family. I became conditioned not to. There is something called a spiritual warfare. And that's what I was battling with, because my God told me not to even get involved. My spirit told me no. And when it became so loud, I had to do something different, but I only did it for the moment. You know, it talks about in the Bible how, you know, the seed can fall on hollow ground or rocky ground, and it never gets to the root. And that's what would happen. Like, there would be seeds dropping, you know, but and I'll have an epiphany, and I'll say, no, I can't. And but there's something going on with me. And I'm a part of this organization where you get together and you work with people or a person to try to identify some things about you, you know, shortcomings, character defects, all of these different kind of things. And I've done that, and, you know, but you got to be able to trust the people that you're giving you to. I know I do. You know, because it's been times over the years that I've tried to sit down, but I mean, I have a therapist and I've talked to therapists, and it's not until this time where God actually put the mirror right in front of me to allow me to see me. The cracked, the broken me. I heard somewhere before that healing is like peeling back an onion. You know, it's many, 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 many different layers. And for me, I talk to people and they say don't beat yourself up and this, that, and the other. But for me, it's time to take out the belt and whoop my butt. It's time for me to not just give into my flesh and do stuff. Because people say I'm grown and I can do what I want to do. But was that really what I wanted to do? What I wanted to do or what I did has consequences. It hurts other people. It destroyed lives. What I'm not going to do is be victimized in this. You know, you heard people say that, you know, after the first time, you're not a victim, you're a volunteer. What I believe to be true, and this is my true belief, is that when you can't see clearly, you continue to victimize yourself. I continue to victimize myself. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about nobody else. It's about me getting better. It's about me not acting out or doing what I want to do because I'm grown. Grown is not an age. It's a mindset. Grown is doing the right thing regardless of what you feel. Because your flesh is telling you you're hurting or you don't want to feel, so it's okay to go do something with somebody else, or it's okay to hurt somebody else, or it's okay to do you over somebody else. See, that's the understanding I get when people say I'm grown. Grown is taking accountability. Grown is when you hurt somebody, owning it. And that don't necessarily mean that you got to go back and apologize to the person, because it could cause harm to them. It could hurt y'all. Y'all could be shooting, killing. But it means doing something different. It's been a long time coming. You know, I always said that I wouldn't stay in an abusive relationship. Because I've been a person that can fight, and I got family and all that different stuff, and they love me. They love me. But being here in this situation for all of these years, off and on, going back and getting to a point where my voice became a whisper, that, and when I say that, I don't mean that I stopped being loud. No. Something that happened where I just didn't want to offend him or disappoint him. And a lot of that come from when I was younger. You know, I did everything to be seen by my mother. And God rest her soul, she did the best she can, and that was my best friend prior to her passing. And we did a lot of stuff together, and she loved me. But as a kid, doing everything and on honor roll and cheerleader and gymnastics and basketball player and this, that, and the other, I'm talking about I did it all. Did it all. I never was told by her, job well done, and along came my sister, and my sister seemed to get the love and the attention. And then I have a father that's still living, I don't have a relationship with. Actually, when he texted when my mother passed, I called him, because when people in his life passed, he called me and he said, one thing I know is that you'll show up. And I showed up, and if I was in town, I was there, and I was proud to be there because I wanted to have this relationship with my dad. And needless to say, when my mother passed, I didn't get a call. I got a text from him. I called him, though, to let him know. And his sisters called me and gave me their condolences. But he sent me a text and said, I'm going through some stuff right now. And I know you got this, and you're going to be okay because you're strong and you're going to make it through. And from that day to this day, I've never received a call. When I was growing up, he wasn't in my life. I have other siblings, and he was, what I knew, he was in their lives. From what I could see on the outside looking in, they grew up in the home with him, and he raised them, and all of those different things. And I felt like, again, I wasn't chosen. And out of all my relationships outside of my last two husbands, I really don't believe that they cheated, but most of everybody I dealt with cheated. And they chose the other person. It's always been the other person. I'm always waving my hand saying, here I am, choose me, pick me, choose me, love me. Look, I'll do a cartwheel, I'll do a split, I'll sleep with her with you, I'll do this, I'll do a threesome if you want me to, I'll stand outside, I'll wave my leg, I'll bend over backwards, I'll bend over, I'll do whatever you want me to. If you just love me. If you just see me. I mean, I remember at one point I would say, it's okay if you cheat. Just don't let me find out about it. If we on the north side, then you go on East St. Louis and cheat. You go Chicago and cheat. You go California and cheat. You see how my mentality was jacked up? And let me say that everybody have choices and preferences. Some people choose to have open relationships and things of that nature, but that's not my choice. I didn't want to be cheated on. I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be chosen. Even after the fact that I found out and they chose other people, they later came back and told me, hey, I messed up. Somewhere along the lines of the last 20 years, somewhere 15 years ago, I started liking me, loving me, and I wouldn't tolerate disrespect or abuse. Well, something broke me. But I'm not going to allow what broke me to hold me down. What I'm going to do is, because people say, I've talked to therapists, I've talked to the people in this organization that's supposed to help me through this process. I have not had more clarification and more clarity about me and what's broken on me. Now, I don't know everywhere I need to go. I don't know that. I don't have the answers to that. But what I do know is that me being somebody else's, being somebody's side chick, me destroying somebody's home, me destroying me tearing me down, me hurting me for the sake of you. And when I say you, I'm not just talking about an intimate relationship, because like I said, I do this in all of my relationships. Part of the essence of me is giving. That's my love language. But it's a thing about allowing myself to be used and allowing me to be used. It's something called misuse of an individual. I used to say that just because I give you permission to harm me, don't mean it's okay. And what I mean by that is that when you know that I love you and you know that I'm willing to bend over backwards or do different things for you, some people are not mature enough, because people talk about they're grown, but some people are not mature enough to take the responsibility to say, you know something, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to hurt her like that, or I'm not going to hurt him like that. I'm not going to take advantage of the situation when they know that their intentions aren't good. But that the reality is that a lot of people are broken. I didn't think I was, not to this degree. I feel empty. I feel so empty. Right here. I feel like well, you know something? I'm gonna let God fix it. I'm gonna let God fill it up. That's the only way it's gonna stay. No person, no thing, no place will fill this hole. I don't know who's out there. I don't know if this helps anyone. What I do know is that if God give me breath in my body each day, I'm gonna fight. I'm going to school. And that's something he said to me, that, hey, if you're, when you gonna get your real job, talking about going to school. I discourage myself enough. I walk in fear enough when it comes back to going back to school and all that different stuff, man. And I don't need nobody in my life discouraging me. I'm working on forgiving me, you know, never justifying, because baby, it ain't right. And what somebody else do in this world, that's on them. What I'm doing today is I'm on a journey, and I'm following God wherever he's directing me. I know true happiness starts from within. I felt it before. I felt it before. And so right now, I'm on the road. And I'm allowing God to hold my hand and pull me through. Um, I know that I cannot be silent. I know I cannot allow anybody that type of control over me again. And I'm grateful I'm alive. It could have went another way. Um, this hurts, you know. Um, but I'm not walking around hiding it. And people looking at me. Because this don't define me. The abuse don't define me. The parts that I played don't define me. And it don't tell my end. That's not the end. This is not the end of my story. It's just the beginning. See, I've been afforded the opportunity to have, second chances. God has given me them. God has given me more than one second chance. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord, for not being of this carnal world, of this world where we mess up and we're executed immediately. Off with her head. My head would have been off. But what I'm going to do is take this opportunity to learn, to allow myself to be guided by loving and caring individuals. People that I know rock with me, good, bad, or indifferent. People I know that's going to call me on my stuff. People I know that's not going to say, it's okay, Emma. You're just human. And all my humanness, I'm not going to sit back and continue to justify my behaviors. One thing I can say is through this ordeal, my spirit continued to kick. My spirit continued to scream and say, no, this is not the way. Today, I'm going to work on not ignoring what my spirit is telling me, what God is saying to me, what Holy Spirit is ministering to me. I just want to help one person if I can, along with helping me. I'll share my journey. It's been so much about me that I ran from. You have people say, I'm here, pick up the phone, call. But when you do, they don't answer. But that's okay, because God is always there to answer. And when I need certain people, because some people, baby, I call, I don't care. They're going to pick up the phone. And those are the people I need to keep calling. I hope everybody have a blessed day. And like I stated, this is something new for me. This is nothing that I've ever done. I've never got on anything. Even on Facebook, I don't tell what's going on specifically, directly to me in my life. I'll get on there and I'll show my travels or celebrate birthdays or anniversaries and stuff like that, or my grandbaby and things of that nature. But ever since Facebook been a thing, I've never got on there and personally, other than one time, Other than one time, something happened with my mom and baby, I hit the roof. And when people saw it, they called and I said, if you already know that's not who I am, and that's not something that I do, then it had to be something that hit the core and the essence of who I am. But this time, it wasn't about a me that said do this. It was about what was inside of me, my spirit. My God said, it's time for you to come out of hiding. It's time for you to do the work. It's time for you to tell the truth. It's time for you to stop lying or keeping secrets. I think about the things that I was told in this situation, man. You don't tell my business. Well, I'm in it too. Ain't it my business? But that's not what I said. Again, he has to have whatever his journey looked like. I just pray that he don't put his hands on another woman, another person, and he get whatever help he need. But that's not my concern. I don't even care at that point, this point. My concern is me getting the help that I need, doing the work. One thing about me is that I don't stay, at least I didn't think I stayed in a place of depression. But I guess there was some depression happening. So I have to pay attention to that. Right? So I'll come back and share with you all, or whoever, or just me. I don't know if anybody's viewing, listening, but this ain't about the world. This is about Ema, me, doing the work to get elevated, to soar like God told me I could, and not listen to the lies that have been implanted in my head that I've told myself, that somebody else have told me. I'll be back later.